One of the Supernote's biggest strengths lies in its indexing abilities, whether it's their pre-indexed list of folders, files, pages, and words, or their tools that allow you to index your own pages, folders, files, and words. User-defined indexing, if you will. This will be a tour of the Supernote menu system, highlighting the indexing tools and explaining how I've come to see the Supernote menu system and the indexing tools over the 3 months that I've had the system. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. I've come to see the Supernote menu system as 4 separate indexing systems, all designed to work together to keep you organized and connected to your notes. Let's take a look. So the first thing we're going to look at is the quick access menu, and you get there by swiping down on the right side of the device. This is where your indexed notes, documents, and folders live, pre-indexed and user indexed. The next menu we're going to talk about you get to by tapping this hamburger bar at the top right-hand corner of the screen. These are what I like to call the notes options. These are all the options you have for the current notepad you're in. This includes the file indexing tools. Next we have what I like to call the index, and you get to the index by pressing the second to the last icon from the left side of the screen. This menu shows you all of your indexed words, categorized and formatted differently depending on which indexing tool you use to create the index. The next menu we have is what I like to call the folder view. And you get there by tapping the last icon from the left-hand side of the screen. This takes you back to the folder that holds the file that you're currently using. And you can go back by just hitting this button right here. Alright, so that was an overview of the 4 main menus and how I've come to see them and think of them in my head. Now let's go over each of those menus in more detail. So we'll start first with the quick access menu, or QAM as I like to call it. This is where you go when you want to find indexed files and apps. You can create notes here too that are stored in your notes folder and manage your apps. But this menu is really all about your files though, and getting to them or getting back to them. So let's take a look at some indexed files. We have 2 different types of indexing going on here. We have pre-indexed and user indexed. The pre-indexed files are the files that the programmers have indexed. The programmers at RADA have indexed quite a few files for us already. With recent files, which indexes your 6 most recently opened files, we have last open note and document. These indexes your last open note and document, making them available for you to jump to from here. Note though, if you're in notes, you won't be able to jump to the last open note, and same goes for documents. Next we have files, which takes you back to the top of your file structure tree. So my thought on using the files folder is this. Whatever files you access by going to that files folder, you should be trying to use one of the indexing tools we're going to talk about here today and index those to make them very easy for you to get back to, so you don't have to wander through your file structure every time you try to find a file or a number of files. Alright, so that was all the pre-indexing we have in the QAM. Next we're going to talk about some of the user indexed ways that you can add your files to this particular menu. The user indexed files are the files that you add to this particular menu yourself by adding pages, notes, documents, or even folders to this quick access list. You can add up to 8 files this way and they'll all appear here. The tools for indexing files and such so that they show up in this particular list here are going to be in the next menu we're going to discuss, a menu I like to call Notes Options. But before we head to the Notes Options, let me bring attention back to the feature that I think is the best thing about the quick access menu is that it can be accessed from any app no matter where you are in the system by a simple swipe of the right side of the device. And right there you'll have all of your notes that you put there and all of the pre-indexed files that you also have available to you from any app, anytime. I really love that feature and it's something that makes this system worth using. Alright, so on to Notes Options, and you're going to get there by pressing the hamburger bar at the top right part of the screen there. These are all the options available to you for the current notepad you're in. I break this menu up into 3 sections: Note Tools, Index Tools, and Note Settings. So all your note tools are going to be standard tools you're going to see that are common throughout all platforms. Cut, copy, paste page, things of that nature. The note settings, however, are a little more unique to the platform, but still standard run-of-the-mill stuff. So now on to the indexing tools, which is really what we're in this menu for, and in my opinion, what makes the Supernote so unique and powerful. All right, let's take a look. First is Insert Link. This tool allows you to insert an icon into your notes that references a page, file, or web page, essentially creating your own icon and placement for a user indexed file, With this, you could create your own file structure of types, but who has the time for that? Although I do wish you could link folders and apps. That would be cool. Okay, so next we have keywords, and I'm going to go into keywords a little bit later, but for now, hitting this add keyword allows you to add keywords to a list that can then be used for indexing later. Next, we have this quick access section right here. This section allows you to index your current page or note, which adds them to the quick access menu we just spoke about. Also, it doesn't say it here, but these add buttons apply to documents and their pages as well. All right, so now that we've taken a look at the two menus involved in putting files in this particular list here, let's go ahead and go through the process of creating those files and then coming back here to take a look at them. Let's do it. So the first thing you want to do is find out what file you want to put there. So, all right, so this particular file here I want to put in my quick access menu. It's a Note Air 3C Quick Update 3 video that I just recently did. But I'm going to go ahead and put that into the quick access menu so I have quick access to that in case I want to go back and revise that at any time. I won't, but let's go ahead and do it for this demonstration. All right, so since we're already in the file that we want to have in the quick access list, we can go to our note menu and you can go to current page where it'll add the current page that you're on and just that page, or you can go to the note and the note will go to the last page that you were working on each time. But you can do both of those things right here. What we're going to do is add this particular page. So I just want to start there every time. I don't want to start from where I left off at. I'll start right here. So I've added that to the quick access list. Now we go back to the quick access menu. This is our quick access list right here. And we see that I have show notes right here, page 45. And you can see here that we're on page 45 right here. It won't give me the title of the page because that title is a header, and we'll talk about that in a second here. But for right now, know that that's the page number right there. The note I'm in is called show notes, and we can take a look at that right here. Show notes, page 45, quick access menu, show notes, page 45. If I select on another note that I've already added to this list, which is my tech ideas, I can go to that note. It'll load that up. And then if I want to go back, right back to that note I just left, one swipe, bam, hit that note, I go right back to that page I just left. It's a really cool way to go back and forth between notes. If you know you're going to be swapping information between a few different notes, that's a really good way to get back and forth between those. And it's just a really easy way to do it too. It's not like you have to go through a lot to get it done. They're all right there, and you can organize these. So if you long press on one of those notes, you can drag those notes to another part of the list. And you can also take the notes out of this list by hitting this icon right here, which pretty much just takes that out. So now that note is gone. Cool. So that is how you add pages and notes to your quick access list that's right here. Very useful. If you're not using that, definitely utilize that because it's definitely one of the best features of this, and you will see your ability to retain information go through the roof because this will be a quick way for you to get back to whatever note you want to put that thought in and then jump back to what you were doing. It's great. All right, so the next menu we have up is going to be what I like to call the index. And you get there by going to the top left-hand corner of the screen and hitting this icon right there. The index is where you'll find all of your indexed words and pages. There are three different categories here: headers, keywords, and stars. They all format and display your information differently, so let's take a look at each. Headers allow you to index words or groups of words that signify topics, subjects, or, well, headers that give you some kind of indication of the information that's to follow. So let's go ahead and make our header now so you can see how that process works. First, we're going to go to the end of our notebook here, to our blank page. So we'll use a darker pen to write the topic. All right, so what we're going to do is use our selection tool here, and we're going to select that whole thing right there. And now you will see right here we have a whole host of tools that we have available to us. And right now we have a tool here with a big H on it, and that H stands for header. Tap on that H and it's going to give us another set of options there to give us options of what kind of marking we want to signify that this is a header. So always go with the darkest marking they have. We're going to select that. And now we can see that that phrase has now changed. And that's a visual cue that now that phrase is now a header. So if we wanted to, now we can go back to our index, which is basically like a table of contents. I'll probably mention that a few times here. But you can see there we have how to create a header on page 62. We can also see that I've created many headers about what topics I want, and I can just click on those and jump right to that. And that's how headers work. It's a really easy way for you to jump back and forth between those ideas there. And if we wanted to go back, we can go here and just go to our last header that we created, and we'll jump right back to where we were when we got started. And that's essentially how the headers work. Okay, so when you create the headers, you're going to see that information displayed in a table of contents style format. And you're going to see all of your indexing be done in different formatting just to give you a different look at your information depending on what tool you use, like I mentioned before. So basically what you'll see here is your header as you wrote it. It won't convert into text for you. It'll be your handwriting. And you'll also see the page number that header is on. And you'll be also given the option to just get rid of that header if you wanted to erase it and delete it as a header altogether. That information will still be there. It just won't be a header anymore. All right, so next up we have keywords. Keyword indexing is another way for you to index words, and we kind of spoke about it earlier. Now, these words are less about topics like the headers were, and more to me about more specific things like nomenclature, names of people and places. Let's go ahead and index some keywords so you can see the process. So as I go through some of my notes, I see some words that I use a lot and that I kind of use throughout me making content, and I want to kind of group those pieces of information together so I can make keywords, and I kind of use keywords in that way. You get the selection tool here, you hit that K and it makes it a keyword. So what I can do is say I use the word or the phrase tags a lot. So I can make tag a keyword. I won't capitalize it, I'll just make it as it is. So there we go, we've added that to our keywords list, and it now will have that in a section that I put tags, and we can just keep note of this page 43. One thing I don't like about keywords in this particular instance is that you can't see what they are. What would be really nice is if you were able to they were able to like bundle highlighting and keywords together. So if you use the highlighting tool and you highlight a word, that's typically, that's an important word for you. It would make sense to go ahead and make that word a keyword and have that visible where you go and view your indexing at in the keyword. So all highlighting, making a keyword. I think that would be cool. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that idea. All right. So, and just as an example, look at here. I got tags highlighted and I went to go make it a keyword right here. So that's just a good example of keywords or highlighted things are typically keywords. So just bundle the two together. So anything you highlight becomes a keyword. It takes the whole process of making keywords out of the equation, and they'll just magically appear in your keywords index and everyone will be happy. Yeah. But that's one way to do that. So I've got tags right there, auto convert or convert to text. So I'm going to go ahead and circle convert to text because that's one of those common things that gets brought up when we are talking about these particular devices. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the comma, but we're going to add convert to text there. Now convert to text is added to my list of keywords that I can just use, and it'll recognize that I've used it already before. And like I said, tell me what page it's on, and we'll look at how it's displayed in a second here. So let's go ahead and take a look at our collective keywords and how it's formatting that information for us in the index. So we go to our index here, and again, we see that our keywords are here. We have some options up top. We can sort our keywords by page or keyword. Right now they're being sorted by keyword, where each keyword is being listed and they're showing us what page those keywords are on. If one keyword was in 2 pages, it would show us every instance of where that keyword exists. We can go to page here, and it'll show us all of our pages or all of our pages that have keywords on them. And then it'll show us what keywords are actually on those particular pages. So there's a couple ways you can have your information presented to you here. Like I said, you see the page number that it's on, you see your actual keyword, and you have the ability to get rid of those keywords right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of, I have to-dos twice here. I'm just gonna get rid of to-dos because I only want to-do to be the keyword. And bam, now that instance of to-dos, wherever I had that at, on page 11, I think it was, is now gone. So this is super useful for you to see information and have it presented in a way that's a little bit different than your headers, because they are different from your headers. They're not just giving you information formatted the same for every situation. I really like that they put some time into thinking about how you would want to view that information. Super important and super helpful. Kudos to the RADA team for their programmers having the foresight to do this kind of thing. And of course, you can just click on any one of these keywords and it'll take you to the page where that keyword is at. Again, like I said before, I wish keywords and the highlighter function were mixed together as one tool. That would be great. All right, so that's keywords. Next, we're going to go to the starring system. All right, so the starring system is another way for you to index pages on the Supernote platform. I mean, it can do other stuff too, and people do use it for other stuff like to-dos, although that's less of a thing now because the Supernote platform actually has a to-do app. But functionally, indexing pages is pretty much all it does. All right, so the starring system is a very cool system and very easy system to do. All you have to do is draw a star with one continuous stroke like this. Once you do that, the system recognizes that you've drawn a star and it will convert that to its own star, letting you know it understood that you want this page starred. Now, this star could be anywhere. So let's go ahead and get rid of this particular star. So this star could be anywhere. You can draw anywhere on the app there, and you can make multiple stars. Like I mentioned before, some people use the starring system to do to-dos. So they'll just put a star by something they want to make a to-do, and now it's cataloged in the index for us to go look at and call back to whenever we want to. So that's just a really quick way to do that. That is the starring system there. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like in the index. All right, so we have the stars section of our index here. And up top here it says total of 3 pages, long press to erase. So you can go ahead and erase these if you want, but they're showing you your information in a thumbnail type view, which, you know, I wish they would show us information that was by the star. This is useful, but showing us the information that's by the star is way more useful and letting us just kind of jump to that information. But this is a way to quickly index a page so you can get back to it, maybe signify to yourself that that's an important page you want to get back to. But yeah, so this is an easy way to do that. And here we can just click on one of these pages and jump to the page. And right here you see where I put the star there. So this is a super useful system for finding information while you're in a notepad. But the keywords and starring system is also available to be searched in your global search. So no matter where you're at, you can do a global search here and pick the search. And this gives you all kinds of ways to search. And in your files here, you can pick that and it'll let you pick keywords, stars, or handwriting to search above and beyond just the files that it defaultly searches for. So if you want a rundown of that, Ed over at Organized for Change did a wonderful video outlining all of that stuff. I literally just learned that from him watching his channel when I was scripting the information for this particular video. I saw that and was like, wow, I didn't even know that was there. So definitely, if you want more information on the global search and how that affects the indexing that we're talking about here, I'll link it in the description below as well. Definitely go check it out. Super useful. All right, so the next and last menu we're going to cover is the folder view. And you get there by pressing the last icon at the top left corner of the screen. Pressing that icon takes you to the folder view for the file that you are currently in. In here, you will see the file that you are currently in and all the other files in that folder. You will also have some standard folder options like create files and folders. More uniquely though, you can also create drawing files here, which would open the Atelier drawing app. Atelier, I'm not French, man. I do know some Creole though. C'est la vie. Parlez-vous français? The indexing features here come in the form of this back button, which indexes the file that you just left and allows you to jump back to it, and the ability to get to your favorites, which is this star right here. This favorites feature allows you to index any file with a star next to it in your favorites list. So let's go ahead and click on the star here, which would put this tech notes file in my favorites list. And you get to your favorites list by hitting this star here. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So right now I have 9 favorited files here, and you can go through those files. They're listed 6 at a time. The most I've been able to favorite and index in my favorites list is 25 files. So if anyone has added more files to that, or if anyone knows what the limit is, because I did a search online and couldn't find anywhere of a mention of the limit of saved files on the Supernote platform. So yeah, if anybody knows, go ahead and throw that in the comments down for me so everyone can see what that limit is. Thanks. But once you're in this favorites list, you have a few options for viewing and formatting, or maybe filtering through that list. So you can click on the name, and it will filter these by name in descending or ascending order if you push this icon right here. It'll show you by time in descending or ascending order, and it'll show you by size in descending or ascending order. You can also have it formatted differently in a thumbnail view for you versus in a list view. So you get the list, a icon, and then a thumbnail. That's pretty cool. So there's lots of ways for you to view your indexed favorites here, and lots of ways for you to get back to them. All right, everyone, those are the menus I wanted to cover, just kind of highlighting the indexing features that I love so much about the Supernote platform. I'm going to be adding that information to the review that I'm going to do here about the Supernote shortly. And I just wanted to put that out there in a way that I've been thinking about it as far as the indexing tools, because it made me think a lot about it when I did my Go 10.3 video and saw the shortcomings of their tags and thumbnail system that they have going on over there, and then how that compares to the headers and keywords that they have on a Supernote, and more importantly, how the boxes and asterisks play into the search and the indexing, as far as how the Supernote does it, where it doesn't have to search these pre-indexed things that you find in your index here. These things are always there, they're indexed. These words are always there, they're indexed. These stars are always there, they're indexed. The books platform seems like it has to search every time you look for these particular things, and that search is not a short process. It's a very long process, but I do feel like when Onyx gets to the point to where they're ready to index this information, that process will be a lot smoother. But until then, the Supernote is the king when it comes to keeping your thoughts organized, and as you can see, indexing these things, user indexed ways to connect with your information, and pre-indexed ways that the programmers have already thought of, which is more than enough, but you can go further, indexing these things yourself and user indexing. So yeah, knock yourselves out, everyone. Get to indexing these things. Like I said, if you're going to the files folder to find files, then you're not using these indexing tools, and you definitely should be taking advantage of them if you have the Supernote platform. All right, that's going to be it for me. I hope you got some value out of the video today. Go ahead and like if you'd like, subscribe if you want to see more, and till next time, take care.